All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Pokemon. I've got an interesting video for you guys today. So as you guys know by now, at the Logan Paul Mayweather fight, Logan Paul came out wearing one of three in the world BGS 10 pristine first edition base set Charizards. He claims it's his $1 million good luck charm now that he's walked out with it at the Mayweather fight. A lot of people were talking about this card, and these are the most recent pictures that Logan posted from the fight with the card around his neck. So it was a pretty cool moment for Pokemon. Pretty cool moment for, of course, the first edition base set Charizard. Now, there's a little bit of controversy with this. So right after the fight, Logan put these pictures up, and then last night, Beckett tweeted out an HD scan, like an image of the card that Logan actually had. So Logan Paul's BGS Bling 1999 Pokemon base set first edition thick stamp Charizard holo rare. Pokemon fans and collectors erupted when they noticed Logan Paul's BGS Bling was a $1 million pristine Charizard draped around his neck. Oh, he also fought Floyd Mayweather as well. So once this close-up image came out, and even prior to that, there's a lot of speculation as to where this card came from, how Logan obtained it, because as you guys know, prior to this, there were only two in the world, and Gary, King Pokemon, had both of them. Now, last night, another video came out from King Pokemon himself, titled Logan Paul, Gary, King Pokemon, and the BGS 10 Charizard. So this was interesting as well, because Gary kind of implied that there were people suggesting that there's some negativity around this between Gary and Logan Paul. Gary goes on to praise Logan Paul in this video. He says there's no beef. He supports Logan and everything that he does. And essentially, it's a half-an-hour video, but he doesn't really explain where Logan got the Charizard from. He kind of alludes to the fact that he might have some connection to it, but he kind of says he doesn't want to spoil it. He says the truth will come out soon, and he kind of beats around the bush. But overall, it was a good video, and he talks about just how good of friends him and Logan are. So that raised a little bit more question as to what's the big deal with this Charizard. What's everybody talking about? Well, this post came out on Instagram by an account called Pichu Collector. And this was a very interesting post that a lot of people are sharing right now. And I want to talk about this because this is the main conspiracy theory here. So let's take a look at the caption here first. It says, some of you may have seen the recent Logan Paul versus Mayweather fight. One of the main talking points in the Pokemon community wasn't the fight itself. Rather, it was the BGS 10 pristine Charizard card Logan Paul was wearing around his neck. With a small amount of research, it became apparent that this card has a bit of history. A history which reveals that this card may be a bit less pristine than it appears. So then they say, thanks to Beckett sharing a high-res scan of the card on Twitter yesterday. That is this scan right here. So we showed that. We were able to compare the card with the PSA 10 copy that Logan Paul purchased from Gary last year. From the holofoil pattern and centering, it's without a doubt the same card. So the same card that he purchased from Gary. You guys saw the video. Logan purchased the PSA 10 card and crossed it over to a BGS 10 grade. So if we go through the photos here, it says this is a video that Gary did with Leonhardt, and they reference this later in the post here. So the Charizard fails to cross the BGS 10 due to a 1 edge and 2 corner issue. So go down here. So it says, that's where I imagine Logan and Beckett would like the story to end. However, if we go back to January of 2020, the same card, so this is the same card that Gary sold Logan. The same card, allegedly, the same card appeared in a Leonhardt video, which had Gary as a guest. In the video, Gary was trying to cross-grade some PSA 10 cards he had over to BGS 10 grades, with the caveat that if they didn't meet the minimum grade, they wouldn't be cracked out of their PSA 10 cases. So now this is where it gets a little bit interesting. One of the cards featured in the video was the Charizard card that Gary later went on to sell Logan Paul. Beckett returned the card in its PSA case after identifying issues with the top edge and both of the top corners on the back of the card. It failed to cross over to a BGS 10 grade. So the premise of this post is that one of the cards that Gary featured in the video with Leonhardt and tried to cross grade with Beckett before came back and failed and did not come back a Beckett 10. So they're alleging here that the same card that Logan Paul graded a 10 is this same card. So let's go to the next picture here. So it talks about why it didn't grade a 10. There's something in the middle and something on the right. We were not going to change them to a Beckett case unless they came back pristine. And this was on the January 27th Leonhardt video. And again, here's a picture of the card that Logan Paul purchased in the PSA case after he bought it from Gary on September 24th, 2020. So let's go over here. October 7th, Beckett registers the new BGS 10 card. So we know that Gary was searching for this card. Gary knew that the third card was out there, but the guy that had it apparently wasn't public about it. I believe Gary even offered like a $750,000 cash prize to whoever had it because Gary wanted to complete the collection. So let's go down here. Fast forward to October, and those corner issues have now disappeared, and it's only the edge which prevents it from getting the coveted black label grade. It's one of the three BGS 10. It's one of the only three BGS 10 first edition Charizard cards to have been graded, and Gary owns the other two. And then the end of this post here says they allege Beckett is using this as a marketing piece. Logan is showing it off to the world, and Gary is publicly offering $750,000 to buy the card he sold to Logan for $150,000 9 months ago, despite it failing to cross over to BGS 10 a further 9 months earlier. Let's see what other photos they have in here. So here's a better look at the pristine 1999 base set of Charizard. So they zoom in a little bit. Here's a close-up of it. So the only ding there is a 9.5 for edges. We'll go back here. Here's the picture from Twitter that we were just talking about. They show that in the post as well. And then they compare the two cards. So here's the close-up picture of the card that Logan showed himself after he purchased it from Gary. And here's the HD scan of the pristine 10. So there you guys have it. So this post is basically to sum up a very long story. It's basically saying this is a card that Gary had. Gary tried to cross-grade it himself. It failed. It didn't come back a 10. This was the same card that Gary allegedly sold to Logan Paul. Then Logan Paul tried to cross-grade it with BGS to get the BGS 10. And then it came back a 10 for Logan, but not for Gary. So that's generally what they're trying to infer here in this post. And I've seen a lot of people saying this, and I think, like I said, if you go back to Gary's video, that's indirectly what Gary's referring to in his video, because he talks about some of the people that have seen the card that Logan walked out with, and he says they were doing some detective work. He says some people were right, some people were way off. I think the detective work that Gary is referring to is the comparison between the Charizard that he sold Logan and the Charizard that came back a pristine 10. So I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts on this in the comment section down below. It's an interesting conspiracy theory. If it is true, how significant is it if it's true? What are the implications if it's true? Or does it really matter at all if it's true? Maybe it was just an error. Or maybe it's not true at all. You guys can let me know in the comment section below. Do you guys buy this? Do you not buy it? Do you think this is a worthy conspiracy here? I found this post. Again, the Instagram page here is Pichu Collector. I found it to be a very interesting post, but nonetheless, I thought it was a cool way for Logan to announce that he's the one with the third BGS 10 in the world. I think it was a cool moment for Pokemon. Nonetheless, the fact that the biggest moment of Logan's life, a Mayweather fight, heavily featured a Pokemon card at the center of it all. But even if it is true, it appears that Gary has no bad blood with Logan. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. It really helps out a lot. Let's try to get this video to 1,000 likes. I've never had a video hit 1,000 likes on this channel, so let's try that on this one. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet already. As always, I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Pokemon, signing out.